Call the City Council meeting to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lamore,
Here.
Felder,
Excused.
Whitman,
Here.
Aguangeli,
Here.
Vining,
Here.
Germaini,
Excused.
Mayor Clark.
Here. Ask we all please rise for the invocation. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
We gather here today intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. Guided by understanding and wisdom, give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, just a quick comment before we start for the first item agenda, and I want to thank the Monroe County County Executive, Mike Pasonic, and also the County Commissioners for allowing the City Council to use the county chambers to conduct our meetings while we wait for and have started through the summer for the renovations to the Monroe City Council chamber. So just want to say thanks. So the surroundings are different. Those that may be watching and wondering why, no, our chambers are not completed yet. We're visiting the county, and again, I wanted to say thanks for the county's support in allowing us to use their fine facility here. So with that, Clerk, first item, please.
Before I mention the first item, I just wanted to remind everyone that you need to speak consistently into the microphones. If you turn your head at all, it's not just for those at home on television, watching on television, but also some in the audience aren't able to hear either. So it's a little different than our speaker system, so just a reminder. The first item on the agenda is any amendments to the agenda.
Your Honor, I'd like to amend the agenda to remove item number 8, closed executive session labor negotiations update.
Second. There's a motion by Councilman Nicolani, supported by Councilman Lamore, to remove item 8 on the agenda, which is the closed executive session regarding labor negotiations update. Comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lamore,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Aguangeli,
Yes.
Vining,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Next item, please.
The next item is citizen comments not related to an agenda item.
Thank you. Are there any comments from those present here this evening not related to an agenda item? Any comments from those wishing to speak to the council at this time? There's an opportunity at the end of the meeting, but if it's not related to an agenda item, you're more than welcome to speak this time. If so,
Is this for the agenda or something else?
if it's not on the agenda,
Oh, okay.
is an agenda
It'll be-
item? Is an
no.
agenda item?
It'll be at the end of the meeting.
We can do it now if you want.
Well, yeah, it's something about the, what I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. To the microphone, name and address, please, and your comments. So you have a lot.
Casper Monday, 712 West 6th Street. I got a question I'd like to ask you about the city taxes I got. Okay, what does it mean on a bridge? Monroe City Bridge, what does that mean?
The city manager may answer. I'll give a brief answer and I'll let him follow up. But years past, the bridge millage was passed for the repairs to the bridges that are now completed.
Oh, okay.
So it would have been the Winchester Bridge, the Macomb Street Bridge, and the Rossler Street Bridge. The 2008, 10, I'm sorry, the bridge millage was passed by a vote of the residents to seek that we repaired our own bridges because they're our responsibilities. Where you look at some other bridges, for instance, Telegraph and Monroe Street, those are actually state obligations. So that's what it's referring to.
Yeah, I don't mind paying my taxes, you know, but I never noticed it on there before. I don't know about last year, if it's on there or not. I didn't know this.
Well, that's a good question. You see
I
a
just
tax
wondered-
bill and you don't know what something means on there, so you come and ask.
I
Absolutely.
just wondered what it, why it was there.
And
And
actually,
there's-
oh, I'm sorry, just sir, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Another question I'd like to ask, where are you gonna build that new fire station?
Well, I'll let Mr. Pastou respond to that as an update, but he may also kind of give a conclusion to the bridge millage as we're moving forward in the conclusion of doing those projects. Vince, if you could, please.
With the fire station, we are finishing up right now the construction drawings. So we have a construction manager at risk, and we're hopeful to have our cost estimates probably before the city council for approval in late July 1st of August. We anticipate the shovel in the ground probably late August, the 1st of September is when the new fire station would start.
Where are they gonna build this at?
At the old Lincoln School property on west or east 3rd.
Would you know what would be their ETA estimated time, like on Union Street from there?
We did go through some of that review, several months ago. I think, trying to remember what it was for that area. We could pull it back out and get in touch with it. So.
It's a good question. I think that runtime analysis was done both from not only would be the fire station that's being built, but also the fire station that's on North Custer, and they both would have a time run analysis for that. I don't have it with me right now, and I don't recall right off, but it's something we can get to you if you leave a contact number with the clerk.
Well, that one that's on north-south Custer up there or whatever, it's about the same distance, I would think.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
So, I don't know. That's quite a ways if your house catches on fire.
Well, we'll get the data because it does have the, like I said, the runtime analysis for the entire city. Maybe that's something as we move forward that we put back. We can put that back out on the city's website as well. Just it's been a while since we've been asked that question, but it's maybe something we can inform the
I
community
can
about.
understand you don't have, maybe not have the property, but, you know,
Mhm.
I would think it maybe should be about center ways, you know.
Yeah, I recall most of them are within the 3 minute, but I don't want to say because I don't remember exactly. We can get that information and get it to you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here. Other comments from those present here this evening, not related to an agenda item? Any further comments? See none. Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is under council action. It's item number 2014, proposed ordinance 18-004 and ordinance to amend sections in chapter 699. Move to place proposed ordinance 18-004 up for its first reading and schedule a public hearing and second reading for the June 4th, 2018 regular meeting.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that ordinance 18-004 be put on its first reading and a public hearing and second reading be scheduled for June 4th, 2018.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Nicolangi, supported by Councilwoman Whitman regarding item 2014, the proposed ordinance 18-004. That the public hearing and second reading be placed on June 4th regular meeting. Before we take a vote, I know that Mr. Leroy's here to answer some questions we may have had and also talk about that process getting into our next meeting as well. Vince?
Let me just introduce our Utilities Director, Barry Leroy, to address the two changes in the proposed ordinance.
Sure. Mayor and Council, Barry Leroy, Director of Water and Wastewater for the city. The two changes are in our cross-connection ordinance as well as our system development fee, or water system development fee. The cross-connection ordinance is a reflection of our Michigan Department of Environmental Quality requirement to start a residential cross-connection program within a 12-year period, or 12-month period, excuse me. So the plan is to start that after July 1st. We've been building up with our crews with training and instructional services, and we are the program covers will be in compliance with Part 14 of the Safe Drinking Water Act, and it's on all residential accounts is when we'll be starting this. We have about 13,000 active residential accounts, so it's going to take a good 5 to 10 years to go through them all. The existing program does not include residential. It includes all classifications but residential. So this ordinance, these changes will incorporate jurisdictional changes on so we'll be using the state plumbing code versus the prior method that the ordinance is written on how, instead of the city just saying that we have to, we have a basis, and then the timing when we do the inspections and require testing will be done. Those will be some of the changes. So we are currently field training, and I did mention to Mr. Pestu, we're inviting start the inspection process to mayor and council if they're interested, and our staff are field training, so they're in groups of 4 and 6 to get that done. The other change is our system development fee or buy-in to the system. So any property that wants to connect to the water system, if it's previously unserviced or being redeveloped for more intense use, has to pay a buy-in fee based on the meter size. And that's based on a 2005 rate study that we completed. The cost is to recover the new user's fair share buy-in of the water system amortized cost. And it's based on the system's depreciated value and as well as the existing number of users that are equivalent in the system based on meter size. And that's done every year during the budget process. And this year we're at a point where we have to make a change because the value of the system has gone up to the point because we keep reinvesting in it, which is a good thing. And so with that being said, that's why we are making a recommendation. It was part of the budget process. We made a recommendation during our budget process, but it was also recommended to have a separate ordinance change closer to or after the budget cycle, I should say. Excuse me. So anyway, those are the major changes with what's being proposed in front of you. Are there any questions?
Questions at this point? I know that, though, as we stated, this motion is to put up for public hearing and a second reading of the ordinance on June 4th meeting, so we'll come back if there's things that come up for council that need additional information from administration or Mr. Leroy. Will have that opportunity. And of course, the public that's here and is listening, they may have some inquiries. They can, of course, refer those to Mr. Leroy through the Water Department regarding this proposal as it's written. Mr. Pastu, anything further? Council, any other questions or comments at this time? Okay, there is a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lamore?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
Echoangeli?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes. Next
Or-
item.
I have to read, I'll read it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Sure,
okay.
I did that last time, too.
Ordinance 18-004, an ordinance to amend sections 699-07 and 699-28 of Chapter 699 Water of the Monroe Code.
Thank you.
The next item is 2024 Exterior Vestibule Improvements for Dorsch Memorial Library Bid Award.
Mr. Pastu, I think you have some
Yeah, just a
background.
little background, thank you, Your Honor. We're asking City Council to approve the bids that were received, the low bid for the Dorsch Memorial Library vestibule improvements. The low bid responsive bidder was A.A. Booz of Oregon, Ohio, in the amount of $68,000. We're asking council to appropriate a 10% contingency with that. We're also requesting professional services in the amount of $5,000 with James S. Jacobs for construction phase inspection, and then authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city. And then there's the last part of it is authorize city engineer to execute the agreement with the architect for the project as well. So long overdue. I think we're on track. We are going to have to do some amendments with the CDBG proceeds for this, but we can. I think we're comfortable moving forward with the project at this time.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we accept the bids for the Dorsch Library exterior vestibule improvements in the amount of $68,000 with a total of $75,000 to be encumbered, including a 10% contingency. Authorize a professional service agreement in the amount of $5,000 with James Jacobs, PLC. Authorize the mayor and city treasurer, authorize the mayor and city clerk, sign the contract on behalf of the city, and authorize the city engineer to execute the professional services agreement.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Echoangeli, supported by Councilwoman Whitman on item 2024, that as stated be accepted. That the bid award be accepted as stated. Other comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lamore?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
Echoangeli?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes. Next item, please.
The next item is item 2026, sale of property West Front Street.
Mr. Pestu, some background, please.
Your Honor, City Administration is recommending the sale of approximately 9.5 foot by 69 foot section east of what used to be the UNI bar. It's an area that's a grassy area, and to the east is the drive right-of-way for the parking lot along the river. The sale would be to 34 West Front LLC, and it's part of the redevelopment of the property. If you recall, when we talked about this several months ago, they're looking to widen the area for the restaurant that would be going there, but also allow for access to the upper apartments to accommodate a little bit wider area for the restaurant. Obviously, we reviewed it through engineering. There are no utilities or any other easements, and we think it's the prudent thing to do from an economic redevelopment standpoint. The amount of the sale is $3,500.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that the City Council adopt the resolution authorizing the sale of vacant parcel as depicted on Exhibit A to 34 West Front LLC and authorize the city manager to execute the transaction.
Second. Motion by Councilman Michelangelo, supported by Councilman Lamore to item 2026, sale of property, as stated, accept the resolution. Any further comments? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lamore?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
Echoangeli?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to wish Mr. Leach all the best with this project.
Thank you.
Support.
Clerk, next item, please.
The next item is the consent agenda, and under item B, approval of payments, the amount should read $1,164,703.58, 1164703.58.
Thank you. Are there any items on the consent agenda that council wishes to have pulled for further discussion? Any items council wishes to have pulled from the consent agenda? Seeing none, are there any items from those present here this evening that wish to have pulled for further discussion? Any items on the consent agenda that wish to have discussion on? Seeing none, a motion be in order.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that all the items on the consent agenda be approved and recommendations and appropriate resolutions be accepted, placed on file. Recommendations carried out.
Second. Motion by Councilman Michelangelo, supported by Councilman Lamore, that all items on the consent agenda be accepted and placed on file, and resolutions adopted. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lamore?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
Echoangeli?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes.
I have no further items, Your Honor.
Thank you. And we'll go to council comments. It is May, so Councilman Lamore.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few things. The Cultivate Monroe, which I was talking about at the last meeting, it's still scheduled for June 16th. There are currently 15 teams. That's up 4 teams from last time we talked. They are basically trying to improve 15 homes, at least their front yards, that is, and no cost to the homeowner. They're going to be planting flowers, edgewats, etc. So it's going to be a great improvement to the Orchard East side. And from what I've been told, they are making plans to move forth throughout the city. But this is a starting point right now at this time point. So I'm basically asking the citizens of Monroe to come out and support this great action because this is a way that our city can grow, as well as get more beautified, if you want to call it that, at the same time. So I think this is a great plan of action, and I will be down there supporting full force, whatever I can. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Whitman.
I have no comment.
Councilman Michelangelo.
Nothing this evening.
Councilwoman Vining.
No comment.
Anything else to my left? So it's to me, I just have a few announcements and some activities that are transpiring here before our next meeting. I'll start by the River Raisin National Battlefield Park Memorial Day service. will be held on Sunday, the day before Memorial Day, but it'll be Sunday, May 27th at 6 p.m. Go out there and to the National Park for their memorial service. Also, if you have not been out to the National Park since May 15th, and will continue until May 31st, is the Field of Flags display. And have a moment to go out there and speak to the park rangers and the assistants and talk about why that's important and why the Field of Flags is representing all that were present here over 200 years ago regarding the Battle of the River Raisin. The Memorial Day Parade, which is sponsored by the VFW Post 1138, will be held on Monday, May 28th, Memorial Day, and it is at 1 p.m. is the start time. My thanks to the VFW for sponsoring and putting the parade together and honoring on its date. Another activity comes up, while not necessarily in the city, it is impact with the city, and many participants come from the city, is the Relay for Life, which supports, of course, cancer awareness, begins Saturday, June 1st, out at the fairgrounds. And if you have the opportunity to go out there and cheer on some support those that have been impacted by afflicted with cancer, but also talk to others and give support would be wonderful. In our last meeting, I mentioned about the activity which was downtown, which was the Amazing Rally event. It was held yesterday, and it's kind of along the lines of the Amazing Race, if you've ever seen that show. But they had a great time. There were 7 teams, and they raised some funds, revenue for cancer awareness, and that was the purpose for the event. I see that continuing year after year. They had a lot of fun, not only downtown, but I know throughout the entire county, as they had to do many tasks. And my thanks to Chip Williams from MEMIC Insurance, who put that event together, not only downtown, but out through the county. It was wonderful. Make a comment on an item that was passed under the council action on the Dorsch Library. As Mr. Pastu said, it's been long coming. Unfortunately, the last bids were not within line with what we thought they should be, and we were able to get there with this current bid process, and also working with Jacobs Architects for support there. Look forward to those improvements. And interestingly, earlier tonight on our work session, we talked about boards and commissions. One of the boards that's going to be coming up for review, and how do we kind of partner that and use the resources and those in our community that I know are very interested in the Dorsch Library and also the Navarre Library, and how we kind of resurrect our library commission or committee. And we're going to be reviewing that as we get through those renovations to the Dorsch and bring it back to its appearance that we all remember and know it to be. The last comment I'll have is Michigan Week is this week, and we have the opportunity to make some nominees that get recognition for their awards. And I know that probably the area that I receive the most compliments on from residents and those that come through our community is the gardens that are at Front and 3rd Street. And that came to be because of a couple people that through their employment with Michigan Gas, but also through DTE, of getting that started up, and being Paul Livernoy and Jeff Hensley. But Paul Livernoy, as I call him, the gardener, and you'll see him out there frequently. Please stop and just say thank you to him. But he's probably not liking I'm mentioning this tonight, but those both will be recognized on Thursday morning through the Michigan Week breakfast and recognition as our Minutemen Awards recommendations. So I see those things growing within our community, just as Councilman Lamore mentioned, the Cultivating Monroe, and Councilman finding some activities as well in her community. So it takes us to participate in how we move forward and be a part of our community. So those are my comments this evening. My thanks to the county administrator and the county commissioners for allowing us to use the chambers here at the county while we're having our renovations done. Clerk Treasurer Lavoie.
I have no comments, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Pastu.
I have none, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very well. Any comments from those present here this evening? Yes, please come up to the microphone. Name and address, please.
Evening. June Coyne, 226 Scott Street. I am so glad to hear that you're looking at the Dorsch vestibule. You knew I was going to say that, Bob. It's very overdue. I was talking with staff the other day, and about every third or fourth patron wonders, what can we do about this? And I'm hoping to get a look at what develops as plans go on about that, making sure there's ADA accomplished in this movement too. So that's wonderful. Good news.
Thank you, June. I know we've chatted about that. I've received some other communications from residents and those that are participants at Dorsch, and obviously they're very concerned, as they should be, as we were equally concerned. But it just, unfortunately, last year just did not come through with a reasonable bid. And I think we've been able to work that out. And I appreciate the staff's input, and I should say administration and the staff's input to get us there today. So we're really looking forward to getting this project started.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Other comments from those present here this evening? Yes, sir.
Well, come on a couple of
You
things.
just have to go up to the microphone, your name again and address.
I don't want to be called a troublemaker or
Oh, you
nothing,
know.
but,
Name, please. Again.
sir,
Your name again, please.
Casper Mundy, 712 West 6th Street. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Casper.
Is there a noise ordinance in the city of Monroe?
Yes, there is, and I know the chief of police is back here. I cannot tell you what the decibels are. I know that it's a little bit challenging what that is, but there is a noise ordinance regarding whether it be time, loudness, vehicles, residents. So there is an ordinance within the city.
Yes, that's what I wanted to find out. What time is it? You know,
Yeah. Well,
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock?
I think I would know that exactly, but I'm looking at that. I want to say 10, but I'm looking to the chief. Maybe help me.
I can meet with them.
Yeah, the Chief McCormick is available, Vince?
I'd have to go back and look at it again.
I have to do.
Well, I called the sheriff department one night, I think about 12 o'clock, or 11:30. And they said up to 12 o'clock, a little late in.
Well,
Somebody's got to work the next day.
sure, the sheriff's department would be outside the city as far as enforcement, but inside the city would be this city
Well-
police department?
I'm sorry, cut in, but you couldn't get a hold of police. You got a hold of dispatch sheriff,
Oh, yeah.
and they dispatched the police.
Okay, well, the Chief McCormick's here, if maybe, just, maybe, again, share, contact, we'll make sure you get that exactly as it reads. I apologize, I
Well-
don't remember it off the top of my head.
I understand they can't get everybody, but I understand they're doing their best, you know. Can't catch everybody, but, and these fireworks too. I know they're legalized in the state of Michigan,
Yeah.
starting a month ahead of time, shooting a month after.
Well, that's another item that was passed by the state legislators, approving the display of fireworks that is 3 days surrounding the dates that were approved. And we can expect to hear them coming this Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, other holidays that are around. It's permissible because it was passed by the state statute, and we actually we can't override that. We could make some other administrative actions as a council if we wish to do so, but it cannot override what the state passed as regarding the dates and the times in which that's permissible.
Well,
I agree with you.
I can understand them, shooting 3 days ahead, 3 after. Month before, month after. They scare animals. You got elderly people. I mean, some of them shake your house. I mean,
I've shared those same concerns with our state representatives.
yeah, should write him a letter. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, Casper. Appreciate it. Good comments. I mean, because I think we'll come back at our next meeting. I'm sure there'll be others will be raising the same concerns that you are raising right now. I appreciate it. Other comments from those present here this evening? Seeing none, motion be in order.
Your Honor, motion to adjourn?
Motion by Councilman Lamore, supported by Councilman Whitman to adjourn. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lamore?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
Michael Angeli?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes.